Have you ever wondered what things you're still holding on to as you age? Are they lifting you up or weighing you down? Today, we're exploring the things that, after a certain point in life, we're better off releasing. As we grow older, we often carry experiences, habits, and memories that, while once meaningful, might now be preventing us from living freely and fully. In this video, we'll talk about 6 things that can actually help you find peace and joy by letting them go. Imagine a lighter, happier life simply by releasing what no longer serves you. So, what are the things we should release as we grow older to truly embrace peace and joy? Let's dive into the inspiring stories of people who learned to let go and see what wisdom they have to share. Number 1. Let go of past regrets. Mr. Harry had reached the age of 80, and while he cherished many memories, there was one lingering regret that he could never shake. Decades ago, he'd had a falling out with his best friend over a misunderstanding. They had been inseparable in their younger years, sharing countless adventures and a bond that seemed unbreakable. But after that argument, pride and hurt kept them from reconnecting, and eventually, they drifted apart. This regret, buried deep, grew heavier over time. Mr. Harry often found himself wondering, what if I had just reached out? Could things have been different? One afternoon, while sifting through old letters, Mr. Harry came across a picture of his friend from years ago. Looking at it stirred something in him. He realized that carrying this regret had kept him from truly embracing new friendships and experiences over the years. It was as if he had held on to a piece of the past, unable to make room for the present. Feeling inspired, he decided to write a letter of forgiveness, not necessarily to send, but to unburden his own heart. In the letter, he expressed the pain he had felt and his sorrow for not reaching out sooner, as well as the gratitude for the good times they had shared. Surprisingly, just writing the letter gave Mr. Harry a sense of liberation he hadn't felt in years. It was as if, by acknowledging and letting go of this regret, he was finally able to make space in his heart for new connections. He began to open himself up to the people around him, joining a local group for seniors and striking up conversations that led to new friendships. The weight he had carried for so long had been replaced with a newfound lightness and a sense of peace. This story teaches us a powerful lesson. Holding on to regret can become an invisible barrier that keeps us from fully living in the present. Regret ties us to moments that no longer exist, making it difficult to embrace the here and now. But when we decide to let go, we free up precious mental and emotional space, allowing ourselves to be open to life's new opportunities. In the end, Mr. Harry found that letting go of past regrets wasn't about forgetting. It was about forgiving himself and creating room for the present. Number 2, release the need to control family members' lives. At 75, Aunt Mildred was known for her wisdom and strength, the matriarch of the family who had been a guiding light for her children through countless decisions. From career choices to relationships, Mildred's opinion always seemed to have a place in their lives. She felt responsible for ensuring that her family stayed on what she believed was the right path. Yet, as her children grew older and became parents themselves, Mildred found herself in a delicate balancing act, one that sometimes led to tensions and misunderstandings. The turning point came one day after a disagreement with her daughter, who politely but firmly expressed that while she valued her mother's advice, she needed space to make her own decisions. Mildred was initially hurt, feeling as if her love and wisdom were being pushed aside. But as she reflected on the conversation, Mildred began to see things differently. She realized that her desire to guide was sometimes interpreted as control, even if her intentions were out of love. By holding too tightly to her role as a guide, she was inadvertently creating distance between herself and her family. With this new perspective, Mildred decided to step back and focus on supporting rather than directing her children's lives. Instead of offering advice outright, she began to listen more, only sharing her thoughts when asked. As she let go of the need to control, she noticed a profound shift in her relationships with her children. They became more open with her, and the family dynamic became lighter and more relaxed. Her children felt empowered to share more of their lives, not because they sought her approval, but because they genuinely wanted to. Aunt Mildred's experience is a reminder that while guidance can be valuable, letting go of control fosters trust and allows loved ones to grow in their own ways. By stepping back, Mildred discovered a new depth to her relationships, based not on authority, but on mutual respect. Learning to trust her children's choices didn't mean she loved them any less. In fact, it created a space where her love and support could be felt even more fully. Number 3, shed unnecessary possessions. At 82, Grandpa Ted faced a big decision, moving from his spacious family home to a smaller, more manageable place. It was a change he'd known was coming, but as he looked around at the many rooms filled with decades of memories, he felt the weight of each item. From his children's old-school projects to souvenirs from family vacations, every corner of his home held something significant. Ted felt that letting go of these things meant letting go of the memories attached to them, and he couldn't imagine saying goodbye to any of it. But as the move approached, he realized he had to start sorting through his belongings. At first, he found it difficult, feeling an emotional attachment to each item. One day, while holding a worn-out jacket he hadn't worn in years, Ted asked himself what truly mattered, the jacket itself or the memories it represented. That shift in perspective helped him start seeing his possessions differently. He realized that keeping fewer items didn't mean losing memories, but rather honoring what was most important. As he continued to declutter, Ted chose a few beloved items to keep: a family photo album, a few cherished books, and his favorite armchair. Letting go of the rest, he felt something unexpected, a sense of lightness and freedom. With fewer things to manage, his new space felt open and peaceful, without the clutter of the past weighing him down. His home became a place he enjoyed, rather than a place he felt obligated to maintain. Grandpa Ted's journey shows us that shedding unnecessary possessions isn't about letting go of memories, but about creating a manageable and peaceful environment. Holding on to fewer things allows us to focus on what truly matters, making room for new experiences and a simpler, more joyful life. By clearing his space, Ted discovered the joy of living with intention and feeling at peace in his surroundings. Number 4, dispel fears about physical limitations. For Grandma Jean, gardening had always been a source of joy and peace. Her backyard was a sanctuary filled with colorful flowers and thriving vegetables, a reflection of her dedication and love for nurturing life. But as she reached 78, her mobility started to decline, and bending down to tend to her beloved plants became increasingly difficult. She worried that her gardening days might be over and reluctantly decided to put her tools away. The thought of giving up something she loved because of her limitations filled her with sadness and a bit of fear. One day, a close friend visited and noticed how much Jean missed her garden. She suggested that there might be new ways to keep her gardening passion alive, even with her physical limitations. Intrigued, Jean looked into raised garden beds and adaptive tools designed for people with mobility issues. With her friend's encouragement, Jean set up a few raised beds that allowed her to garden comfortably without having to bend down. As she planted her first set of flowers in this new setup, Jean felt the same joy she had known for years. Letting go of her fear about physical limitations opened up new possibilities for Jean. By adapting to her changing needs, she discovered that she could still engage in the activities she loved. Each time she saw the vibrant blooms in her raised garden, she felt a renewed sense of purpose and happiness. Rather than focusing on what she could no longer do, she learned to appreciate what she could accomplish by simply adjusting her approach. Jean's experience reminds us that releasing fears of physical limitations can lead to fresh and fulfilling ways to stay connected with our passions. Accepting these changes isn't about giving up, but about finding creative solutions to keep joy in our lives. Instead of allowing limitations to define her, Grandma Jean's resilience brought her happiness in new forms, showing us all that adapting is a powerful way to stay engaged with life's simple pleasures. Number 5. Move beyond comparison to others' achievements. At 76, Mr. Liu often found himself reflecting on his life's journey, measuring it against the lives of his old friends. Some had traveled the world, others had accumulated impressive wealth or received public recognition for their work. Liu couldn't help but feel a pang of envy now and then, wondering if he had somehow missed out on something more. The more he focused on these comparisons, the more he felt drained, as if his own achievements and experiences weren't enough. One afternoon, while flipping through a photo album, Liu stumbled upon memories of family gatherings, community projects he had helped with, and the laughter-filled moments he'd shared with friends over the years. He realized that while his journey looked different from others, it was full of richness and joy in its own way. Liu decided to stop comparing his life to others and instead appreciate the unique path he had traveled. His experiences were not lesser. They were simply his own, woven with love, service, and personal fulfillment. As Liu shifted his focus to his own journey, he felt a new surge of contentment and energy. Rather than feeling like he was catching up to someone else's accomplishments, he began revisiting his favorite hobbies, reconnecting with friends, and even taking on small local projects that brought him joy. Letting go of the need to measure up to others brought him a profound sense of peace, as he started to see the value in the things he had done and the life he had created. Mr. Liu's story reminds us that freeing ourselves from comparisons fosters a deep appreciation for our own lives. When we stop looking over our shoulders at others' paths, we can embrace our journey and the unique joys it brings. This acceptance of ourselves, just as we are, allows us to fully experience life's pleasures with a renewed energy to pursue what we truly love. Number 6. Say goodbye to old grudges. At 83, Uncle Sam was known as someone who'd lived through thick and thin, carrying with him countless stories of friendships, family, and hard work. Yet, tucked away in his heart was an old grudge he'd held for decades against a friend from his younger days. The details of their falling out had faded over time, but the feeling lingered, casting a quiet shadow over his otherwise warm personality. Sam had always told himself that forgiving wasn't necessary. It was enough just to avoid thinking about it. But in reality, the resentment quietly weighed him down. After a recent health scare, Sam found himself thinking about his life with fresh eyes. The experience left him wanting to live more fully, unburdened by past negativity. One evening, in a moment of clarity, he decided it was time to release the grudge he had carried for so long. He spent time reflecting on the impact this resentment had on him, realizing it had limited his openness toward others and clouded some of his happiest memories. Sam didn't reach out to his old friend, but instead found his own way of letting go, quietly acknowledging the pain, accepting it, and moving on with a lighter heart. The decision to release his grudge brought about a profound transformation in Sam. With a clearer mind and a sense of peace, he found himself engaging more openly with others, laughing a little more easily, and even making new friends in his community. The newfound freedom from past resentment allowed him to form genuine connections without old bitterness holding him back. Life felt richer and more meaningful, with each moment unclouded by anger he had once believed would always be there. Uncle Sam's story teaches us that letting go of old grudges isn't just about forgiving others. It's about giving ourselves the gift of peace and emotional freedom. Carrying resentment can close us off to new experiences and relationships, while releasing it opens us up to happiness and connection. Embracing this freedom allows us to move forward with lightness, ready to enjoy life's blessings fully, and build new memories unshadowed by the past. Conclusion. As we grow older, letting go of certain burdens can open doors to a richer, more peaceful life. Whether it's releasing regrets, shedding the need to control, or finally saying goodbye to old grudges, these choices help us embrace each day with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. Remember, our happiness is often found in what we choose to let go, not just in what we hold on to. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through the lessons of life, let us know by commenting 9 if you agree with these tips or 0 if you're still reflecting on them. Until next time, take care and continue embracing each new day with open arms. Goodbye.